question is to say like, can you form like a real relationship like from Tinder? Obviously, we know people who
100%.
have done
I
it,
think
but
I think especially like these days, it's gonna become a whole lot more common. Like I think our generation,
Especially with social distancing
especially,
and
exactly,
quarantine,
exactly.
where you don't
It's gonna
have
be
the
so
option to
common.
meet
It's gonna be
people.
so common. You hear like stories from our parents' friends, like yeah, so and so met each other like at a party. They met each other in a pub. They met each other in a park this time. It's gonna be so common for us to hear like in the future when we have kids. We're
Yeah,
gonna be like,
like
oh
Yeah.
like yeah, we met on this app or we met through this like streaming service, whatever.
Among Us.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
on Among Us, yeah.
CS:GO, bro.
She was imposter and she didn't kill me.
We got married
Love
the
at
next
first
day.
sight.
Yeah, but also like the aspect of us, you know, when we like see a girl on Instagram or something, we actually haven't even met her, right? And we see like the pictures and stuff, and like, you know, obviously we all go through a cheeky bit of a stalk, you know, and
Of course.
you know, you see like, oh, like is she good looking or not? Maybe see like her interests and whatever, but like if you don't actually meet her, do your standards just get heaps high, and you're like bloody looking at Instagram models and stuff, and then you compare her to them, and you're like, no, I wouldn't go for that. But it would be a different story if you met her at like a party or something, and you guys got to talking, and then like you actually formed a connection rather than
Yeah,
just
that's true.
basing everything on looks, because you don't really
Oh,
get that connection.
That's
through
facts. That's facts.
Instagram.
It's easy to
I
make
think-
that connection like off the bat, looking at like, especially for us. I know like a whole lot cheeky. You guys follow a lot of models and stuff, so making that correlation is like it's very common.
Yeah,
Well, maybe you could tell us about your recent experience at a party, and you know,
but
see how that personal connection
I'm sure the
went.
viewers would be interested to find
listen,
out about
but
that.
it's very early days, and honestly, like, yeah, no, okay.
Now, what I'm gonna say is that beauty standards on social media is a lot higher than it is in in real life. So
Yeah,
it's hard to
definitely.
distinguish the difference between real life and social media because it's so easy to filter a photo to make you
Yeah, exactly. I was
look
gonna say.
better.
Yeah,
It's all
Let's say,
about
like, seriously, like, if you don't mind me talking about it, like, you know, the girl you met on social media,
yeah.
like,
Go ahead.
yeah, like, no, just like your experience on that, like, what you
Mhm.
thought about it, because obviously,
Oh.
like, yeah,
Yeah,
you have that
honestly,
experience.
yeah. So, I mean, for me, I got lucky, I think, in the fact that, I didn't, I expected at first, I was like, oh yeah, she's a good looking girl. And so I actually met her and I mean, my expectations got higher when I met her. So I feel like she even looks better in real life than she does online. But I don't think that's a common case. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's happened to me multiple times where I see someone, online, and then I see them somewhere out and I'm like, who the heck is this person? Because
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
there's
it's
little
an
to
absolute bloody
no,
minger.
exactly. There's little to no similarities in social media and in real life.
I don't know about you guys, but when I see a girl on Instagram, I automatically assume they're like a lot worse looking than they appear.
I've gotten
Yeah,
that
that's
to that
true.
point,
That's true.
and I got pleasantly surprised this time. So
I mean,
Yeah.
you have to. I think, yeah. I think the schools in Dubai as well. Like we're all kind of connected. We all have like, I know someone in my school that knows someone
we
in that
all know
school.
each
and
other. Yeah.
at a party, we're gonna meet, and we're gonna meet. Like we're all gonna meet eventually.
Yeah.
And usually that it starts off with them adding you on Instagram before you even meet in person, because
Yeah, definitely.
you've talked to them over text or something, and then your expectations of their personality or of their looks are like above average or just too high, and you get let down sometimes. But that's how
Yeah.
it is, I guess.
It's just the way social media works nowadays. I think.
Hakuna Matata, man.
Me,
Hakuna Matata.
Me, Alex, and
In
Andrea
numbers.
currently are learning in psych about human relationships and how they're formed and stuff. And we learn a lot about like the models of how relationships start. How it goes from like small talk and to, you know, like
Yeah, just like, oh, I'm from here, you're from there, whatever.
and then giving off like, you know, more personal information, and then to like a deeper connection and stuff, how all the relationship, you know, kind of works and forms, and how people are attracted to one another. And obviously, and honestly, I don't see a translation from that, like all like the science behind that, to like the current way that people meet each other and date each other. Because at the end of the day, like the modern generation plus like COVID and social distancing and stuff is completely different. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to like rewrite the books on how people act around one another. And
you could think of it like because of technology and social media and all those kind of stuff, they become a whole lot more, introverted when it comes to like physical connections, or like having to sit down and talk to people, like full length conversations that were so easy to do when our parents were growing up, or our grandparents or great grandparents, because they were forced to. If you want to have a conversation with someone, you sit down face to face and you talk to them. You couldn't send like a text.
That's a really good point. That whole idea with like cyberbullying.
That's maybe not everyone. Like some people are more extroverted. I'm like slightly more extroverted than I am introverted, but it depends on like how well I know the person.
Yeah.
I mean, we can even use the example of COVID and the fact that, I know Hannes, for example, we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago where you said, listen, like, I've been alone for 7 months and I haven't really spoken to anyone besides my parents. And so even when we were in quarantine for, 2-3 months, like it was hard to get back and actually have a conversation with someone because you're just not used to it.
That's true.
Yeah.
That
was tough.
Yeah, I was thinking more through the lens of like how like the whole thing with cyberbullying is that you're bigger and like you feel stronger behind the screen because you're not going to say that to someone's face. Same thing would apply to like when you're chatting up a girl on buddy Snapchat because you're going to say stuff and then you're going to meet and be all nervous and shy and stuff. It's like not a good reflection because one thing is the physical attraction right through Instagram, but then when you're talking as well through the DMs or whatever, you could be a completely different person how they act in real life.
But couldn't you also make the point that like, as like now that we have access to all these things, we're not limited. Like, if we take our parents' era, they had landlines, for example, but you obviously it's not as interesting to talk to someone just over the phone while you're able to, use FaceTime, you're able to call them and you're not just limited to meeting them in person. So you're able to have, say, throughout the week, you can talk to them after school and then on the weekend you hang out, where instead before it was like, if you can't hang out during the week, you're only able to really talk to them during the weekend.
It's a massive utility. It's a massive utility after you already meet, but I'm saying like it doesn't work when you like meet them online and then go out, like at least not honestly that's a big generalization. I'm sure it does, but
but sometimes you really just don't know what you're getting yourself into also.